All right, today we will be replacing the fuel shutoff valve for an Ariens 28-inch snowblower. Now what happened here is they're on a fuel shutoff valve, this knob snapped off. Now this is pretty much a brand new snowblower. I just bought it this year. But what happened was when the placement of this string is horrible, or this pull is horrible, because it's right next to where the shutoff valve is. So when I pulled it, it slipped out of my hands, caught on this knob, the knob snapped off. You can kind of see the broken metal right into there, where this is supposed to attach here, and you can see the broken piece of metal right in there. So anyway, we need to go ahead and replace that because I don't want to use needle nose pliers anymore to turn this on and off. So what I end up doing is going on Amazon and finding the exact replacement. This part here is on Amazon. It's about $7 on there, and it comes with the new knob and new fuel shutoff valve. The first thing we need to do is go ahead and get this cover removed. Now, the power start here does not come off, at least not in an easy way that I've been able to find, so we're just going to end up having to remove this entire cover. The reason I mentioned the electric start here is because right behind here, I think you can kind of see it, hopefully, there's a bolt, and right there. Now this bolt you can't get with a socket or anything like that, and it's not going to come completely out of won't come completely out here. So we're going to loosen it as much as I can to come up right up against this housing here. We should then be able to go ahead and get the whole thing pulled off. But so you've got two bolts here, you've got one down here, this one that I mentioned right behind there. This is just an empty hole. Then you'll have two more bolts right here, and then this whole thing should go ahead and pull off, exposing the shutoff valve that is sitting right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all of this pulled off. I'm using what of course is a 10 millimeter socket, and then I've wrench, and then I have a 10 millimeter socket. The wrench I'm using for the one back behind here only. The rest of it I'm just going to be using a 10 millimeter socket. So we'll go ahead and get that going and get it pulled off. We got the cover off right now, which is sitting just over here. So now it's going to come down to removing the damaged valve here. So what I'll need to do is go ahead, there's a little clip here that's holding on the hose. Right now I have the fuel shut off as to off, so I'll be able to go ahead, I'm going to move this clamp over, take the hose off. Then underneath here, there's this nut that you're going to need to loosen. This hose needs to come off because you're going to have to twist the actual valve off, because it's threaded up into the fuel tank here. First though, you'll have to loosen this nut because that's what is going to make it nice and snug. Once you loosen that, this whole thing will be able to twist and come off. But in the time that you're doing that, if your fuel tank isn't completely empty of fuel, you're gonna have fuel just gushing out of here. So mine, I don't believe, is empty right now. Like I said, I hadn't used it that much this past winter. So what I'll end up doing is, as I twist off this valve, I'm just going to go ahead, have a small funnel here, and I'll be catching the fuel, which shouldn't be very much, be catching it in this small funnel. A couple things you can do is either plug the bottom of the hole, plug the bottom of the funnel so it doesn't all run out, or have a catcher under there if you're quick enough here to be able to have a catcher, which I'm just using a little bourbon bottle that'll try to catch the fuel in there. But we'll go ahead and get the hose clamp moved over, pull the hose off, loosen this nut, and then loosen the entire valve assembly to drain the fuel, and then we'll come back to get the new one put on. Well, we got the old valve out, which I use you can see it sitting kind of right there. The fuel filled up here, so you got yourself a nice little homemade Molotov cocktail. Then the new valve is right here. First thing that you're going to need to do, oh, by the way, I removed that nut that was on the old valve that I had pointed out previously. Used a 9/16 wrench to go ahead and just, all you have to do is loosen the nut. You can see the top here is threaded. This threaded part will be going back up into the hole here, into the fuel tank. If I can find it there, hard to do while I'm on camera, but anyway, you get the idea. First thing though you need to do with the new valve is go ahead and put on the fuel strainer here, which is very simple. All it does is just, it comes with the kit, by the way. It just screws in there, and there you go. That's it. Now we're gonna go ahead and insert this, and if I can find the screw hole, there it is, here, and we're just going to thread this on. If I go the right way, because it's opposite, yeah, there we go. So we're just going to go ahead and get this threaded on. Now you want to thread it on as much as you can, but it has to be going the right way. So this, I felt it getting tight, so we need here, we need to be able to have the fuel outflow facing the tube here. So this is as tight as I'm going to do it. It's still fairly loose, but then what I'll do is go ahead, that's what this nut is for. So you're going to tighten this nut so you get a snug fitting up against the actual tank itself. So then once that's done, we're going to go ahead and then we can connect the fuel hose here. And I'm going to need both hands to do this, but you get the idea. This is going to go on just a little bit more. Then we just take the clamp, slide the clamp back over, and once that's done, then I'm going to go ahead, tighten the bolt there so everything's secure, pour fuel back into it, and then we'll test it. So right now we want to make sure that this is sitting off, which it is. It has to be facing forward as much as it can, because when we get that housing put back on, that's when you're going to put on the knob, this black knob that also comes with the kit there as well. So I'm going to get everything tightened down and filled with fuel, and then I'll go ahead and we'll turn it on and make sure there's no leaks. Everything is now tightened down. I went ahead and attached the fuel line here. I tightened down this bolt before filling anything. It is now filled with fuel, and you want to make sure that you check for any leaks before you put this housing back on. Once you get the housing on, and if there's a leak, you're gonna have to go through this whole thing all again. It's just gonna turn into kind of a pain in the ass. So right now, there are no leaks that I can see there. We're gonna turn on, I think I mentioned I filled it with fuel. I'll go ahead and turn the valve on here, make sure that there's no leaks coming out of the hose connection here, which does not look like there is. So right now it's actually really nice out, so it's I'm winterizing, quote unquote winterizing, the snowblower here, getting this fixed. I put in some seafoam in there. What I'm going to do is go ahead, I'll get the cover put back on here, we'll get it started up, I'll turn the valve off so I run the carburetor completely out of fuel. That way we can go ahead and it'll be good to go to store over the summer until we need it next winter, and it should then go ahead and start up on one pull next winter. So thank you for watching. That's about it for this one. Fairly easy fix, but just figured I'd show the little nuances to you in case you run across this again. Have a good one. Thanks for watching.